So, as you guys know, my name is Dallin Anderson, and today we're going to be talking about how to be truly wealthy and happy using this simple truth. So, a lot of people want to make money in life, a lot of people want to have wealth, but a lot of times people don't know why they're not getting the result that they're looking for. So we're going to be talking about one main simple truth, and this truth is eternal, so it never changes. If you watch this video 300 years from now, it's still going to be just as applicable today as it is then. So yeah, basically the three truths that a lot of people miss. The first truth, and the main one we're going to be talking about today, and a lot of people kind of wait around. They always start these educational videos and then they'll be like, hey, you guys, we'll get to this truth. I promise we're going to talk about it. And then they sit and talk for like 30 minutes without even saying anything. But the purpose of today's video is just to bring to you guys the actual truth so you guys can make that choice for yourself, how you want to use that truth. A lot of people are going to apply it. A lot of other people aren't going to apply it. It's just plain and simple. But if you do apply it, I can promise you that it is eternal truth. So it will work every single time, so long as you put your end in and apply it. So it's up to you to apply it, but I promise that it does work. So let's go ahead and get talking about it. The main thing that I want to talk about today is the fact that money is the effect of something. So money equals an effect. Let's just go ahead and draw. Money equals an effect. Okay, so I'm not going to take a lot of time to do perfect handwriting or whatever, but you guys get the point. Money equals effect. So instead of looking at money as something that comes into your life as some gift or something that just is mysterious, or a lot of people say they want to make money, and you don't make money, only the mint makes money. You earn money. So money is the effect of something. So if you want more money in your life, then you have to provide value. Everybody always says that. Everybody on the internet's always like, you guys provide value and you'll get value back. But rarely do they explain like what value is, right? They'll say, oh, you got to create value and then you'll have money as a result, which is true. That's true 100%. But what is value, right? Like, because a lot of people that make a lot of money start from having nothing at all. So clearly that value came from something outside, or didn't come from something outside of themselves. It came from somewhere else, right? Because how can somebody create a multi-million-dollar company starting from $0 or even negative dollars unless they were able to get that change from inside of themselves? Because clearly the outside effect, I mean, you could have no money at all, and your outside effect is having no money, right? But if you start creating value, if something inside of you changes and you start creating real value, which we will explain what real value is in a second, then all of a sudden you start making money. So clearly money is not dependent on exterior circumstances, because people start from all sorts of places, you know? So yeah, money is the effect of creating value. So if you want more money in your life, then you need to create more value. Now, the way to create more value is very, very, very plain and simple. A lot of people get it wrong. A lot of people think in their minds they have to do some crazy thing or be some crazy person. And if you do feel called to be something a little bit more different than what's normal, that's not a problem, but you don't have to do anything crazy to create real value. So if you want money, you don't have to do anything crazy to get it. All you have to do is become valuable as a person, right? Because how else does a company go from zero to multi-million dollars except that something changes inside of a person? And when something changes inside of you personally, when something changes in you, then all of a sudden people start becoming successful. So to create value, you don't have to do anything crazy. It just has to be inherent inside of you. It has to be cultivated or developed. In other words, you have to become valuable, right? That's plain and simple. But how do you become valuable, right? It's actually easier than you might think to become valuable as a person. And really the way that you become valuable, so if you want to become valuable, if you want to create real value as a person, alleviate suffering. That's providing relief to people that are suffering, right? That's how you create value. That's how you become a valuable person. If you can create relief towards somebody else's suffering so they feel like their problem is solved, or not only that they feel like their problem is solved, but that it's actually solved, that their suffering is either eliminated or reduced. If you can eliminate or reduce suffering, you create value. Or I should say you transfer value, because really inside of you, you're becoming a valuable person and you're transferring that to other people. And you become valuable through alleviating suffering. So there's a lot of different ways to alleviate suffering, obviously, in the world. But that's how you become a valuable person. You know, it's really what you give out comes back to you. Just whatever you sow, you will reap as well as a person. So if you can effectively become valuable inside of you, not outward appearance, not wearing Gucci flip-flops, not looking valuable on the outside, but if you can actually inside of you become valuable as a person, you absolutely will alleviate suffering. You will, because you've alleviated suffering within yourself. So if you want more money as a person, you need to create real value. You don't create value doing what everybody on the internet says. You create value by alleviating suffering. And if you want to alleviate other people's suffering, then you should alleviate your own suffering, right? It goes both ways. If you alleviate somebody else's suffering, you're also going to notice your suffering goes down. But for example, if you're a person that's anxious all the time, it's going to be really, really hard for you to help somebody that struggles with anxiety. Maybe if you had anxiety in the past and then you overcame it, then you can absolutely help alleviate the suffering of somebody that struggles with anxiety. Right? But if you yourself are anxious all the time, you can't help very much. You might be able to help a little bit. That's not to say you're completely worthless or whatever. You can probably help being there for them, being a friend. You can still alleviate suffering. But to really solve their problem, to where they don't suffer from chronic anxiety, you yourself need to be somebody that is free from anxiety, right? Or at least have made significant progress on the path to becoming free from it yourself. So Value is created when suffering is alleviated. Now, there's probably a lot of different things that you are naturally good at. Each person has inclinations, hobbies, things that they got excited about, things that they were learning throughout their life. And because of that, they're naturally good at a lot of different things. I really hope you guys have been able to see my face this whole time because I've been walking up to the camera all close here. Sort of. Oh, well, that's not what is really important. What's really important is what you're learning here today on this whiteboard. Okay. So most people tell you to create value, you need to do something crazy, right? Some drastic change in your life to really create value. Now, there is truth to that. Like, to really change something, sometimes you got to grasp it tightly, not subtly, not kind of half decisively. Like, sometimes you have to grasp something tightly to really change it, but not all the time, right? A lot of times you just make small, simple changes every day, and those small and simple changes become something huge down the road. You work with yourself. You don't overwork yourself, right? If you can work with yourself instead of overwork yourself, you're automatically going to be on the path that leads to change, right? Because change can't come from fighting with yourself. You can't be in a battle with yourself and then expect to see change. You're probably just going to see a greater manifestation of the problem that you're experiencing. So you need to work with yourself. One of the best ways to do that is to create value every day, little changes, right? Like little changes. Figure out what you're good at. Turn on a camera and start talking about it. You don't have to know everything. You just have to be excited about it. And that excitement alone can relieve suffering for people that want to learn about the specific subject you're talking about. You know, just excitement alone is a way that people relieve suffering. So, yeah, if you guys want to truly become wealthy in your life, and I know this for myself, you guys, I have experience applying all of these principles. You know, I know these work. So money is an effect, not a cause. If you want money, you need to become something. You need to actually become valuable. And you'll just have that money automatically. It's like instantaneously. Like the second that you become as valuable as the desired amount of money that you want, you will absolutely see it in your bank account. There could be like a little bit of delay or lag, but the outer world will absolutely catch up to what has changed inside of you. So like I said, the true secret to becoming valuable is inner change. Eliminate your own suffering. Start thinking positively about your life, exercising, learning about things, educating yourself, planting good mental seeds, weeding bad mental seeds, planting good habits, weeding out bad habits. Become valuable inside of you, alleviate suffering inside of you. And it is impossible for you not to alleviate suffering outside of you. And as you alleviate suffering outside of you, you create value, right? And as you create value, you are rewarded with money. It's pretty simple. It's not that complicated to start making money. Yeah, it might take some change, maybe sometimes some big drastic changes, right? But for the most part, it's small and simple things every single day that you're doing that are good things that create inner value through the elimination of inner suffering, and therefore you create outer value for other people as well. I know this is true. Okay, the times in my life where I've experienced the most joy and happiness, guess what? That flowed right over to the other people in my life. When you're creating things, when you're excited, when you're joyful, other people can't help but to pick up on that. It's contagious, right? Good energy is contagious. But it comes from inside of you. You can't ever get it from somewhere outside of you. It doesn't matter. I mean, you might be in a place now, if you want to make money and be wealthy. Now, you notice the title of this video is How to Be Truly Wealthy and Happy Using This Simple Truth. So this isn't some scam. This is this is true wealth, using the laws of life to create true wealth, right? But the thing is a lot of people, you might be in a place right now where you want the Ferrari or you want the Lamborghini or whatever. And it's okay to have desires. I'm not trying to knock you or anything. But that exterior thing, you're likely seeking the Lamborghini because you want to feel joy or be important, right? You want the car because you want to be important, or maybe you want the girl, or maybe you like to drive fast, or maybe you just love the car. But you basically feel like in your current state, you may feel like, at least in your current state, that you're not happy, and getting that car is going to create happiness. And it probably will add some happiness and some joy and some value into your life. But it's not really going to change, it's not going to truly eliminate the suffering. And it's not to say you can't have the Ferrari, right? You could totally have the Ferrari if you want the Ferrari. But something inside of you has to be creating lasting joy. Otherwise, that Ferrari isn't going to mean anything to you. It could be a hindrance to you if you can't create joy inside of you. So I'm talking about true value here today, you guys. I'm not talking about fake value. I'm talking about something inside of you which is lasting, that changes. So yeah, you guys, if you want money, money is the effect of providing value. Providing value is the effect of eliminating or reducing suffering. That's the secret sauce. That's what every single person that has ever made real substantial wealth in a meaningful, positive way used this law, this principle, right? That's what they used. Let's draw it one more time here. We'll get it so it looks how I want to have it here for you guys, simplified. Every single person. Now, obviously, there's people that have created value, or I should say, it's not true value, but it's kind of like a deal with the devil sort of value. Like there's people that do things that are not honest or authentic or whatever. And those people, basically what happens to those people is they run into the problem I was talking about earlier with the Ferrari. They think money is going to make them happy, so they try to make money through stealing or just something that is not wholesome, right? But the people that have really made money in a wholesome and true way, like lasting, true inner and outer wealth, where they were happy and their business was successful, you know what they did? They relieved, oops. I don't know why I drew a line there. They relieved suffering. So they relieved suffering and therefore created value. And as a result of creating value, they not only earned money, but they were also filled with joy, right? With happiness. So that's the secret sauce. Like, there it is. This right here is extremely valuable. It's right in front of everybody's face, but few people understand it. I mean, a lot of people think that they just deserve money, right? You have a lot of people in the world that just say, oh, well, I think the government should give me $3,000 a month or $10,000 a month, because maybe not 10. There might be some asking for 10. I hope not. With inflation, you can't really blame some people, right? But the point of the matter is a lot of people just feel like they just automatically deserve money and joy. They just feel like those things should just be given to them, right? Just automatically. And the honest truth of reality and the nature of reality is that you don't get money or you don't get joy until you alleviate suffering, provide relief to suffering in some meaningful way, and therefore create value. And you don't relieve suffering or create value until something inside of you changes. Once something inside of you changes, where you have relieved inner suffering inside of yourself, then it can truly happen for other people as well. So, you guys, it blows my mind how many people miss this. Like, I've missed it in my own life. Anytime, though, that I've ever made a lot of money and experienced a lot of joy, it's because I followed these laws. I can look back at my own life and think, when I made my first business, high altitude investing, a lot of money was made in that business in a very short period of time. And yes, of course, I experienced joy from doing that. But you know what changed inside of me? I just felt inside of me like I was excited about the industry that I was working in. I felt inside of me that even though I didn't have money at the beginning of it, I felt like rich because I was able to be part of something that was so cool. So I felt wealthy even though I didn't have money. And inwardly, I started to alleviate my own suffering. And guess what happened? And I provided value to other people through videos. I started to alleviate my own suffering, and boom, my business started making money. But it was an inner change, a change of mind, change of heart. And that change created value. And then, yes, money came fast, and a lot of it, right? Because I created real value through eliminating my own suffering. And then any other time in my life where I've had a problem where I wasn't making enough money, or maybe felt like I wasn't as happy as I could be, it's probably because I had a bad mindset, a bad attitude, or because it's really something inside of me every single time. Because the second I change my own attitude and start being kind to people around me, start really changing inside of me, that change eliminates other people's suffering. That change, like as I'm happier, as I'm more joyful, my friends are more joyful, more focused, more happy as a result of it. So when I think back on my own life, every single time I've ever experienced any form of suffering, it was because of something inside of me that I needed to change. Right? And you don't have to change that all at once. Sometimes you might need to kind of pluck it, grab it tightly. And other times it might be a gradual thing, small changes over time, right? To make that improvement. You definitely want to make sure that if there's something that's causing suffering in your life, that you do change it. because otherwise you're just going to keep experiencing that suffering until the root cause is addressed, right? So just like how in modern medicine, most people are addressing the outward appearance. They're trying to relieve symptoms of the problem. That's also true for financial stuff. So like in the world, a lot of people, like I said, Hollywood, rap music videos, whatever it is, glorify having the nice car, having a bunch of money. But a lot of these people, not all of them, but some of them don't experience real joy. Like they actually feel trapped inside, right? They feel like it's never enough. They just can't feel fulfilled inside of themselves. And so what I'm telling you guys today is different than what the world says. The world says, hey, you guys, if you want to eliminate your suffering, or if you want to get rich, then you should look rich. You should look on the outside like you're rich, right? But no, you guys, if you really want to make money, if you really want to make money and you really want to create real value and you really want to experience joy, the way you appear on the outside almost doesn't matter at all. Like, just saying, you know, it might sort of matter. Like, you don't want to dress up in dirty clothes, right? Like, my room is perfectly clean. I always keep it clean. I keep my mind clean. Like, I like to be clean, but I truly don't care if I wear like a Walmart shirt or some $1,000 shirt. I don't care. I don't care. Because inside of me, I truly feel wealthy. I have knowledge. I have joy. I have good friends. I have community. I've experienced a lot of success in my life. I know meditation, and it's really brought a lot of joy into my life. You know, I believe in God. I have a connection to God, and I feel his presence in my life. And I'm blessed beyond my wildest dreams, right? Inside of me. That's where it starts. That's truly where your life is going to change, is inside of you. Because that's the root cause. That's the root cause of bad relationships. Guess what? You're not eliminating enough suffering for your partner. And I'm not saying to do these types of things grudgingly. You don't want to be like, oh, well, I'm mad at my partner, but I want things to be better, so I'm just going to do this thing, but I don't really feel it. No, like if you want to eliminate suffering in your partner, you got to start changing something inside of your heart, inside of your relationship. And then guess what? If you act out of sincerity and you eliminate your partner's suffering in some way, that creates value. And instead of money, you'll get joy and love as the effect of that. So these are the secrets, you guys. These are the secrets that the smartest people in the entire world have used to provide real value. My camera battery died, but yeah, the most successful people in the entire world have used this exact truth to provide real value to other people and actually experience a lot of joy while they do it. So I know this works. I've experienced it for myself. And like I said, it's eternal law. You know, you've probably heard before that you get back what you give. Life is kind of like a boomerang. You really want to be giving good things, eliminating suffering, changing interchanges, to live life to where you keep getting good things back to you. You really want those good things to be coming back to you in abundance as best as you can. So let's go ahead and review here for you guys. So again, money is an effect. It's an effect. It's not a cause. And it's also an outward effect of something that changes inside of you. How do you give value? Well, you give value when you transfer value, and transferring value only comes from change within. So if you eliminate your own inner suffering, then it's basically impossible for you not to transfer value. If you're a joyful, happy person, you're making money, you're joyful, you're happy, you're good to people around you, you're good to society, you do everything you're supposed to do, right? People are going to be good to you, you know? A lot of people just always do this every single time. So I'll tell you a quick story. One of my friends, he started going to some activities, church stuff. And when he first started coming to church stuff, I remember specifically that he was pretty outgoing and he would talk to people. But then something changed one day. I don't know if he read a book or if he just something awakened inside of him or he remembered who he was or whatever. But I started seeing him go out to every single person. And shout out Caleb Bender if you're watching this, because you probably don't know this, but I was watching from the outside, okay? I watched as he went up to every single person at the beginning of every activity or church day, and he would shake their hand and he would, hey, how's it going? And he would smile at these people. He had a good attitude, right? And guess what? Give it 3 months' time and he had a bunch of friends. And it wasn't very long before he got married, right? Like, if you're good to other people, you're going to get it back. 100% absolutely, you can't escape it. It's impossible to escape that law, because if you become something, you're going to get more of it. That's why if you have truth, you're going to receive more truth, because it feeds back into itself. It creates more of itself. And, that's one of the beauties of knowing truth, is that as you're able to learn truth, your mind is constantly growing and expanding, and your intelligence is growing and growing, and you're getting smarter and smarter because it feeds back onto itself, right? The truth will always feed back onto itself. It will construct itself. If something's true, it will add to the truth that you already have. It won't take away from. And so truth is always kind of reinforcing itself constantly. It's like enduring, it's like solid iron that keeps getting stronger and building up layers and layers. So yeah, be a valuable person. You're going to get value in return. If you want to be a valuable person, become a valuable person. Change inside of yourself. Start thinking differently. Maybe you might have to do some things differently than you've been doing before, right? You might have to make some change, but remember, small changes really do work really well. I think that it's easy for people to try to make a big change and then get overwhelmed. So I've experienced that in my own life before. Sometimes you do need to make that big change. And for you, you're just basically going to have to kind of determine within yourself, if there's something in your life where you do need to make that big change, then you probably know, and you can address that accordingly. And you can address that with faith, because here's the truth of the matter. The world doesn't want people to be suffering. Like, the world doesn't want suffering to exist. I don't want other people to suffer. Most of humanity, the truth of the matter is, there's innate goodness within people. And most of the world they don't want to see their friend suffer. They don't want to see other people suffer, right? So because of that, because not only is it natural within us not to want to see other people suffer, but it's also that God doesn't want people to experience continuous suffering, especially for no real reason other than their own mistakes that they might be ignorant of. They might be completely ignorant of. They might not even be committing these mistakes knowingly. It's just a habit they picked up from somebody or from a family member or whatever. So the truth of the matter is that not only does God want you to change, but everybody around you wants you to change. And so you're going to be given the strength to overcome whatever thing is in your life. Could be financial, it could be spiritual, it could be whatever it is. If you really seek to eliminate or reduce that suffering within you, you're going to be given the tools to do it. But you got to believe that it's possible first and address it with faith. But there's things in your life that need to be changed. And so maybe you need to make a big change, who knows? But for sure you need to start, or at least it's smart to. I don't want to tell you guys you need to do anything in the sense that, like, if you don't do it, I'm going to be mad at you. I don't want anybody to think that. I'm just using the word need, and I probably should use a different word, but I'm not going to. But I'm just saying, you guys, like, if you want the result, you got to make the change. Period. Plain simple. If you want the result, you have to make the change. And it change inside of you, but you will be given the tools to do that. So yeah. Okay, so money is an effect, not a cause. How do you give value? Value is created by transferring value, which is the result of eliminating suffering inside of you or for somebody else. And last but not least, instead of running toward your goals, you need to become your goals. So we've been talking about this the whole time, about how you can't receive something that you aren't. Like, I'm never going to make $1 million until I truly, inside of me, am the type of person that actually deserves $1 million. Right? That's the reality of life. And anytime I have made large sums of money, which we're not going to get into the exact amounts, but we're talking lots of money, it's because of a change inside of me that happened first. So you got to become the thing that you desire. You don't run after your goals. You become your goals. That's how you achieve them, right? You don't run after them. So, okay, let's see. The best way to look at this is a lot of times people see their goal as something outside of themselves. Okay? So, like, again, you want a house or you want a car. And because you want that thing, you also all of a sudden believe that that thing is some exterior thing outside of you. And it is technically, like, yeah, you walk up to the car, you can touch it, right? You're touching the car, it's not you, right? It's outside of you. But the truth of the matter is that the people that own that car owned it inside of them before they owned it in physical reality. Like, they actually believed that they were not only capable of buying it, but they became the person that provided enough true value to be able to buy the car. They became their goal. They didn't chase after it. And so really, like, even though your goal is outside of you because it's a physical object, or it could be a physical object in this example, it's still something where, like, if you want to drive that physical object, inside of you, you have to become the person that is worthy of owning that car. And hopefully not just for a week, hopefully not just being able to own it for a month or two, right? But become the type of person where you're consistently providing value and money to where it keeps coming back to you over and over again in abundance, to where for the rest of your life, if you want to drive the Ferrari or whatever, you can. Right? Become that person. And I'm not saying win the lottery. Look at people that win the lottery. Everything that I've taught in today's for completely free, by the way, little thing that we did here today. And I hope you guys are getting value out of it. I do want to provide a lot of free stuff for you. You know, hopefully it's eliminating some suffering, providing knowledge and ideas in your life. But if you think about the lottery, inside of them, they feel like they're not rich, okay? That's why they want to win the lottery so bad. Because they feel dissatisfied. And then when they win the lottery, guess what? They still feel dissatisfied. Do you really think a dissatisfied, lack of abundance mindset that doesn't know how to eliminate true suffering, that hasn't created any change inside of themselves, is going to be happy with the money that they received? Yeah, the value was created, or the money was given to them out of result of something that they didn't even do to provide value. They just bought something, right? So they didn't even really earn it. They just used chance with really bad odds, by the way, to win it. So yeah, when people win the lottery and inside of them they're dissatisfied, inside of them they don't know how to eliminate suffering, inside of them they don't even understand what true value is, of course their bank account is going to go to zero. All of that money is going to go right back to all the rich people that know how to create value and eliminate suffering, transfer value, and as a result they're continuously creating money and joy in their life. Continuously. Right? So these people that do it correctly, they don't have to win the lottery. They are the lottery. They became their goal. A lot of people set a goal, or maybe they have a vision board or whatever, and they see themselves winning the lottery. Even if you do win the lottery, guess what? You're still just the person that just wants to win the lottery instead of do things that truly eliminate suffering for humanity to create true value. And guess what? The results of your mindset are going to cause you to lose all of the money. But look at those people that know these principles. They become the lottery. They could be in any business. They could be in any industry. They could be anywhere in the world. But guess what? Inside of them, something is different. They understand the nature of reality. And as a result of that wisdom and that understanding, they're able to work with these divine laws, these eternal laws, and truly create value, truly eliminate suffering. And therefore, they are a walking lottery. Plain and simple. So really what I'm telling you guys today is don't chase after money. Don't become envious of other people. Don't worry about what you look like on the outside. Don't worry about what people think of you. Don't worry about your fears. Don't worry about anything. You know, the only thing you should truly be concerned with is becoming the type of person you want to be. And you should ask yourself if the type of person you want to be is truly helpful for the world, or whether you're just doing it just purely out of self-satisfaction. Now, I will say going after your own personal goals is probably the best way that you can really even help the world, because if you eliminate your own suffering, that creates true value for other people, right? So I'm not saying like I'm not saying you can't like want certain things for yourself to want them, but I am saying you should probably ask yourself if that person that you want to become is kind. If that person you want to become is generous. If that person you want to become has integrity, is honest. And, if you're answering yes to those questions, then probably your ideal is a good one. But I'm asking you guys today that instead of seeking something, become something. Okay? And you become something through seeking knowledge and applying it. But please become something. Don't just seek something from the outside. Don't do it for the wrong reasons, basically. So yeah, you guys, this is the secret sauce to success. This is what you should be focusing on. Stop worrying about all your fears. Stop worrying about what other people think. Like I said, stop worrying about everything that doesn't serve this, that doesn't make this continuously happen. Right? You want this to be a continuous loop where your joy is reducing your own suffering and the suffering of other people. And as a result of that, it's creating more value, more money, more joy, which guess what is boom, going back again. That's where your focus should be. Like if you really want to make money, don't worry about how much is in your bank account, right? If you had to have money to make money, Google wouldn't exist, Apple wouldn't exist. Like basically no company ever that did anything would exist. A lot of companies were started in people's garages. So yeah, don't worry about what other people think of you on the outside. Just worry about how you feel on the inside. And you're going to change how you feel by addressing those problems within you, by alleviating your own suffering. The best way to alleviate your own suffering is to reduce your own ignorance. In other words, gain knowledge or intelligence. If you gain knowledge and intelligence, your own suffering is going to be reduced. Because applied knowledge equals results, and most of the knowledge out there was created, or at least a lot of the good stuff was created to help alleviate suffering for the reader. So get knowledge, get wisdom, and you will dispel ignorance, and dispelling ignorance will reduce suffering in your own life. But address those things, address those parts of yourself. And also take some faith. Like you've got an endless supply of faith inside of you as a gift from God. Grab some of it and start going forward. And don't run after your goals, but become your goals. Become the type of person that truly deserves your goals, and analyze and revise your goals to make sure that they are actually what you want to become. That it's actually, and try to think long term. How is this going to affect my children, my children's children? How is this going to affect everybody else in my life and their children's children? Because you as a person, a lot of times we forget, but you have this great ability to make change inside of you, So you want to use that to make change inside of you and change the outside world. You want to use that for good. You want to leave a good mark on the world. You want to leave this planet when you're done doing your thing saying, I lived fully. I treated people good. I'm happy with my life. I know that I taught my kids good principles. I lived good principles. And I really lived those principles around other people and inspired other people to be good. And you can know that the result of your life is positive, that you were good, that the world was better for having had you, right? Not in a selfish way, but you just Because a lot of people come into the world and then they become a hindrance to it. And if you're in a place where, you're reliant on somebody, start building self-reliance. Start taking action, right? So that you can hopefully be self-reliant. That's really the goal, because we don't want to live in a world where everybody, basically, like, if you're not helping the world, you're a hindrance. So choose what you want to be, basically. But if you have a good ideal for yourself, a good goal, then it likely does mean in honesty, integrity, and all of those things. Okay. So I hope this is making sense for you guys. I know that it is. I've explained it pretty simply here to the best of my ability. This really is the stuff that works. I don't know why so few people talk about this on the internet. I don't know why, but this stuff works. Okay. So anyways, this is how to get wealthy, truly wealthy, you guys. How to be truly wealthy and happy using this simple truth. This simple truth is basically that you get what you give. I mean, I don't know how it could get any simpler than that. The golden rule. Like, you reap what you sow. First of all, you get what you give. The golden rule is that you want to do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Right? So if you want to get good things, do good things to others. Okay? Pretty simple, but you reap what you sow. That is the secret. That's the method. That's a simple whatever. That's everything that this whole video is about, is this. That you reap what you sow. Whatever you give will come back to you. So if you're full of suffering, you're full of inner turmoil or whatever, don't lose hope. Okay? Anybody can change from the darkest place. You can change. Okay? You can absolutely change. I promise you. You can. But in that state, you're not going to be eliminating a lot of suffering. You could be causing suffering for other people. Right? So start addressing that. You will be given the tools to figure it out, I promise you. Start addressing your own inner suffering. It could be one little thing to focus on. Could be a big thing that you need to change. But start eliminating your own suffering and start focusing on how you can serve other people too. How you can help them. And you want to have something that's like a clear channel, like one thing. You don't want to be spread out in 50 different directions. Okay? So when you go to help other people suffering, you want to be clear and organized and kind of have your thing that you're able to use to help eliminate people's suffering. But I promise you, no matter where you're at in your life right now, the lowest lows, you could be even pretty high up there right now and you just want more joy and you want less suffering. I promise you that this works every time. If you eliminate your suffering and the suffering of others, if you provide relief, you will create value. And it will come back to you financially, and boatloads of it, if you continue this process over time. So focus on this process. This is the most important thing. I promise you guys that this does work. It's worked for me, and it blows my mind how few people are using this, how few people understand this, how truly simple it is, and how much it really will change your life if you apply it. So, all right, you guys, here's a couple suggestions for you to help eliminate your own suffering and the sufferings of others. Okay, so the very first thing I'd use is prayer. Okay, that might sound counterintuitive, but the very first thing I would say is prayer. Prayer is one of the best ways to eliminate your own suffering and the suffering of others. Any time in my life that I've experienced a lot of blessings, it it's come because of prayer. Every single time I prayed before, that prayer created an inner change which reduced my inward suffering, and therefore my life started to change. Other people started to experience less suffering around me. I was able to pay, hire my friends as employees. So we were all able to pay rent. We were all able to live together, have fun, buy food, right? It started with prayer. Even though I didn't even really have like a fully solidified belief in God, I knew I needed his help, so I prayed to him. And it worked. And it's worked every single time since. So the very first thing, prayer to eliminate suffering. Just ask. You will receive. Talk to God. He will help you. Okay? So prayer works every single time. I mean, it might take time and you might have to have faith. And if you ask for something that's against the will of God, it's no guarantee that you're going to get that thing, right? But prayer works. So prayer, visualization, visualizing your goal, being open with your imagination. Don't try to force it. Just, have a vision board or something that you want, and just like water, kind of allow yourself to visualize, just to see that you already have it. So yeah, prayer, visualization. It sounds crazy, but I promise you an inner change will change your outside world. And prayer is absolutely one of the best ways to connect to God and to change what's inside of you, and therefore change what's outside of you. If you want to relieve your own suffering or the suffering of others, start with prayer. Okay? That's what I'd say. The next thing is knowledge. Okay? Knowledge is so underrated. Camera battery keeps dying, so hopefully we got it this time. We're almost done talking about what I want to talk about. So knowledge, you guys, knowledge is extremely underrated. Like, read a book. I've got a stack of a whole bunch of books over here. I've been reading every single day now for I don't know how long. Reading just opens your mind, especially if you're able to focus, if you're able to sit down and read and really absorb that knowledge into you. It's going to eliminate ignorance. And through that elimination of ignorance, you're going to absolutely eliminate your own suffering and the suffering of other people, which creates value, which in turn will reward you financially. So yeah, knowledge, so powerful. So powerful. Okay, next thing is meditation, which this should be like right up there. It's hard to say whether like, oops. It's hard to say like whether meditation should be above knowledge. These aren't in any specific order, okay? But meditation, oh man, that's so helpful. If you want to be able to focus when you're reading and learning, meditation is how you do that. That's how you train your mind to have a single point of focus, so you can do a lot of things that normally would be impossible for you to do. A lot of people sit down and they can't focus. Okay? You could call yourself ADD, ADHD, and maybe you do have an inclination towards that. I know I did. My dad did. I didn't take medication or whatever for it. You could have an inclination toward ADD, but I'm here to tell you, I couldn't read when I was younger. I would open a book, my eyes would jump all over the page. I seriously couldn't read. It wasn't until I started practicing mindfulness and meditation on a regular basis that my single point of focus, my ability to focus, improved. And then guess what? I was able to read, which gave me huge advantage. Knowledge gives you an advantage over other people, period. Okay, so prayer, knowledge, meditation, these are great ways to eliminate your own suffering. Exercise. Exercise is a wonderful way to eliminate suffering, even if it's 20, 30 minutes, even if it's just a walk, even maybe you just go on 3 20-minute walks a day or 1 20-minute walk a day or whatever, right? Just get a little exercise every day, okay? It's going to be good for you, your mind, everything. Especially if you can do like a hike in the sun every once in a while, get some sunlight, start taking care of yourself. Okay, eliminate your own suffering and the suffering of others. Exercise is a great way to do that. If you feel good about yourself, people feel good around you. Okay? Great way to eliminate suffering. Highly underrated. Okay, but there's no need to obsess over it and live at the gym or whatever like some people do, but definitely extremely valuable. Okay? And if you get into it as a career path or you do have a bit of an obsession over it, maybe it's something that you could use to help eliminate other people's suffering. Feeling overweight is suffering. People need help with that. You could do it, right? So exercise is a great way to do that, to feel better about yourself. But also if you're helping other people exercise, you're helping other people feel better about themselves. Reducing suffering, creating value. If you do that enough, you're going to be rewarded financially. Especially if you're not going in 50 different directions at once, but you have that main thing that you're consistently doing that eliminates other people's suffering effectively, and you keep building that, building that, you're going to create an insane amount of momentum. You're really going to help a lot of people, I promise you. So yeah, exercise, great way to eliminate your own suffering and the suffering of others if you're helping people exercise. I hope this is helpful, you guys. I really believe it is, but all right, so let's go ahead and do one more here today, which is your livelihood. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Livelihood. Okay, your livelihood. Oops. You gotta have one more L there. I don't even know if you guys can see the whiteboard very good. I hope you can. So livelihood is basically extremely important. This is like your career. Maybe you want to be a stay-at-home mom and raise kids. Maybe you want to homeschool your kids. Okay, that's your livelihood. That's like your main mission in life, if you choose it to be. Not everybody chooses that, right? Everybody chooses different things. But your livelihood, okay, this could be, running a business. This could be whatever it is. Your livelihood is the way that you continuously use one thing to, I don't know why I drew up there. Let's draw down. Your livelihood is your way that you continually use one thing that you're specifically good at, hopefully that your skills are good at, to reduce suffering, okay? So, again, reducing suffering is the secret to providing value. Providing value is the secret to getting rich, because what you give will come back to you, okay? Your livelihood is the one thing that you are passionate about, or that you love, or that you're really into it, You're really into it, that provides value to other people through the elimination of suffering. You could be a guitar teacher. People have this, they want to be a guitar teacher, but there's suffering involved and they want to be able to play the guitar, but there's suffering involved in getting from where they're at now to being able to play, because that takes knowledge and time and energy, and it helps a lot if you have a teacher to learn how to play guitar. So if you want to learn how to play guitar, then you need to find a teacher, whether it's a YouTube video teaching you or in person or whatever, right? So if your livelihood is becoming a guitar teacher, you're eliminating the suffering of people that lack knowledge, that lack guidance, in becoming a guitar player. So again, this stuff just works continuously. I could talk all day. I don't have time to. I actually probably went over quite a bit of what my original plan. This is way longer than I suspected it was going to be. But yeah, so this is the secret sauce, you guys. This is, if you want to eliminate your own suffering or the suffering of other people, here's a great list of things. Prayer works every time, been a huge, huge blessing in my life. Knowledge, meditation, exercise, and your livelihood. That thing that you do to provide value to the world. It could be simple. It could be being a guitar teacher. It could be a YouTuber. It could be, it could be simple. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to be something so crazy. You can choose to. If you have a big idea and you want to go for it, right? But you don't have to be. You can just find something that you really love doing, that you're really into, that's your livelihood, to help people reduce their suffering, provide value to them. So yeah, I know this stuff works, you guys. I know for a fact it does. And yeah, again, prayer, knowledge, meditation, exercise, and your livelihood, your career path, your thing, whatever you're into, that you're going to spend a lot of your time doing. If you focus on those things, you're going to reduce your own suffering. As a result, something inside of you will change, and you cannot help but reduce the suffering of other people as a result of that. So yeah, you guys, I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope it was valuable to you, that you learned something. I know for a fact, like I said, that these principles work. Stop focusing on all the wrong things. Stop focusing on how much money you have. Stop focusing on all the stuff that's slowing you down. And seriously, just focus on reducing your own suffering and the suffering of others in an orderly way, right? Not frantically. If you focus on that, I promise you, you will absolutely have true wealth. And yes, money in abundance, like a lot of money. So yeah, you guys, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope you learned something, found it valuable. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And as always, peace be unto you.